Hello dear friends. In this session we are going to understand the callback function in JavaScript. So we'll discuss what exactly the callback is and how it is used. So callback is just a function that is passed as argument to another function. One function will be passed as argument to another function. So why to pass function as argument to another function, and what is the benefit of passing function as argument to another function, that we are going to cover in this session. So let's understand by example how to use callback function in JavaScript. So here in Visual Studio Code I have added the file called callback.js. So here I'm going to write a code to understand the basic functionality of callback. So how can we pass the callback function? How can we pass the function as a parameter to another function? So for that I'm going to write a simple function called show. So this will display a simple message. To display the simple message I'm going to write here welcome message, and along with this welcome message I want to perform some calculation and want to display the result of calculation. Suppose I want to perform the calculation or addition of two numbers. So for that I have I for that I need to write one more function. So for performing the calculation of two number, or for performing the addition of two number, I am going to write this addition function. And to this addition function, so instead of calling this add as a function, add callback, I am going to call it as a add callback. So this function I am going to pass as a parameter to this show function. So how can we call, we'll understand. So I'm going to write this function to perform the addition of two number, and the name of the function is add callback. And I'm getting two number to this function, So this function will perform the addition of two number. I'm simply returning the addition of these two number from this function. Now I want to call the add callback function, but I'm not going to call this add callback function directly. I want to call the show function, and to this show function I want to pass this add callback function as a parameter along with the parameter required to this add callback function. So instead of passing this a and b parameter to this add callback function directly, I am going to pass this parameter to show function, and show will indirectly call this add callback function because I'm planning to pass this add callback function as a parameter to show function. So how it is possible, how it can be done. So I'm going to write here the statement as show. I'm going to call the show function, and I want to pass some value to this show. So for that I'm taking the value here a and b, and along with that I am getting the function as callback, add callback, or any name you can specify here. I'm taking the name as callback. So this is the function that I'm going to take as a parameter. Okay, so I'm calling the function like this 10, 20, and I want to pass this function as a parameter to this show function. Okay, so when you are passing function as a parameter, we cannot pass the function back bracket like this. We simply have to specify the name of the function that is to be passed as a parameter. So what is demonstrating here? I am simply passing the add callback which perform the addition of two number as a parameter to this show function. So I am calling the show function like this. I am passing 10 and 20 to this show and passing the add callback function. Now in show function I need to modify some statement. I need to call this add callback function. So for that, so what I have to do is I can call the function using whatever the name that I have taken here to this add callback function. So I am going to call this function. So I can call like this and this function is going to return the addition of the number. So for that I am going to take addition as a return value from this function and simply want to print the addition of these two numbers. So I'm specifying the message here, add is equal to add. So what will happen here? So when I call the show function, 10 and 20 will be passed to this show function, and along with this add callback function will be passed. So it will display a message, show function will display a message, and then it will call a callback function after displaying the message, and will pass this a and b to this function, add callback function, and whatever the return value will be displayed here. Now when I run it, you can see the output as welcome and add 30. So in this way, we can pass one function to another function as a parameter. But what is the use of this? We'll have another example to understand. I'm going to write. Suppose I want to create one array here. So for creating an array, here I'm creating a number as a variable, and inside that I'm passing some values into this. And in this array, there are some negative values. There are some negative values. But I want to remove this negative value, or I want to only extract the positive values from this num array. Only extract the positive values from this num array. So for that, I'm going to write a function called only positive. Only positive is a function that I'm going to write here. And to this function, I want to pass num. And so what will I'm going to pass, I'm calling this only positive function. I have to define it later on. And to this only positive function, I am passing one more function as a parameter, which will take the number from this array, will check the number as a positive number and return the positive number here. And this function will return the total positive number which is there in this array. So for that, I am going to write here the arrow function, or which we can call it as a lambda function. So I am taking the number as parameter to this function. So instead of defining a separate callback function, I am defining here the arrow function as a parameter. So callback function, arrow function as a callback function. So I am going to check this n, if the n is greater than 0. If the n is greater than 0, so only the syntax is, if the number which is passed to this function, arrow function, is greater than 0, it will return a number. It will return a number. Okay. Now, and this only positive function will return a new array, new positive array. We call it as a positive number, p number, positive number. Now we'll define this function. Now we'll define this positive function, only positive function. So for that, I am writing function like this. So this function will take number as a parameter and will take a callback as a function. So this statement I'm calling as this statement I'm taking as a callback. So this is actually a function that I have defined. This function actually takes argument and which checks whether this argument is greater than 0, and if it is greater than 0, it will return an true. It will return an true, and if it returns true, I want to take this value, take this number as a positive number. I want to put that number in separate array. So this function is going to return all the positive elements from this num array. So I'm taking num as a parameter to this function, and I'm taking this function as a callback function here. And so here I'm creating one more array, that is positive array, positive number array. So here positive number array, and I have to check each element from this num array, and I want to pass push if the number is positive. The number is positive in this num array. I want to push that number into pnum array. So for that I am creating an array here. This is called a blank array, and I want to traverse this num as num of num n of num. So first element from this number I am going to take into n. So this number will be passed to this only positive function. I'm calling this only positive function and passing number. So all the number will be there in this array, and I'm traversing this array here for n as number, and inside this I'm calling this callback function. I'm calling this callback function, and where I'm calling this callback function and passing the number to this callback. And if the return value of this function is true, if the return value of this function is true, then what I have to do is I have to add this n, right here constant constant pnum, and then pnum dot push, we'll call it as the push function, which is a predefined function through which we can push the element into array. So here we have created a empty array called pnum, and in which I'm adding or pushing the element if the element is positive element. I'm passing the number which I have taken in this number array. I'm taking each element from this number array, passing this number to this callback function. This callback is actually a function defined like this. It will take number and will return if n is greater than 0. I'm calling this callback function n, and if it returns the true, I want to push this number into this n, into this pnum array. Now, so in this way all the positive number will be pushed into this pnum array. I want to return this pnum array. So here all the positive numbers will be written here. Now we'll see whether the positive numbers are there. We'll simply print all these positive number here. So for that I'm going to write here console.log and pnum. Now we'll see whether this particular program runs as usual. So when I run it, so as per the expectation, so it returns the positive numbers. Right? Find the function as a parameter. This is called a function, arrow function, and taking this function as a callback function, and I'm calling this callback function by passing n. This function will return true if the number given to this function is positive, and if it returns true, I want to push this number to pnum array. So all positive number will be added into this pnum array, and I am simply returning the pnum array. And when I print the pnum array, it will display the all positive numbers like this. So in this way we can use the callback function. We can pass one function as a parameter to another function. So we'll have one more example to understand the use of callback function. So callback function is basically used with asynchronous function call. So what is called asynchronous function call? When function calls with another function, then it is called asynchronous function. So actual use of callback function is with asynchronous function. So there are so many asynchronous functions are in Java. Timeout is one of the function. So this function will check whether the particular time is out or not. And if the particular time is out, we want to call one more function. So set timeout is a predefined function in JavaScript, and I want to call one function here. I want to call function here. Show1 is a function that I want to call. I'm passing this show1 as a parameter. Show1 is a function that I'm going to define, and this will be called after 5 seconds. I'm passing this 5000 value here, This 5000 indicate interval. If this interval passes, the set timeout function will call the show function. So I am passing the show1 function as a parameter to this set timeout function. So this is what the asynchronous function call. I have calling one function, and along with that one more function will be called. So after the 5 seconds of time is elapsed. So how can I define this show1 function? So when I define the first show1 function like this, and I simply have to display the message as 5 seconds over. So here console.log I am specifying here 5 seconds over. So this message will appear when 5 second time span is over. So we'll see whether it works. So when I'm going to run it, we can see here. So after 5 seconds, a message need to be arrived. Here you can see the message is arrived after 5 seconds. Once again we'll see, I will clear this console and we'll run this program. So here after the 5 seconds the message will appear. So you can see here the messages appear after 5 seconds. So in this way we can use the callback function. Callback function is simply a function which is passed as a parameter to another function. So real use of the callback function is with asynchronous function call, means two or more function whenever you want to call in the same program. So for that callback is the best solution for that. So I hope you understand what is the use of callback function. Thank you.